Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second coaches interview for the YCast. I am here with.
I'm Harume Hikari-Seki. You could call me Harume. It's fine.
Yep.
Much shorter. I am the coach of Team Cold.
Good. Good. Last week we had Ryan on. If you didn't watch that one, you should go watch that one. I'm not putting a link in the description because I'm lazy. I'll probably forget by the
Rude.
time I edit it. So, uh, Harume, we've had a hundred. I almost said 100. Hour and
You
40.
did say 100.
I did, but whatever. An hour and 30-minute conversation prior to more than that. Prior to starting this about life. And this is going to be like the thing now. We're just going to get a coach into the call, and then we're just
And
gonna,
see how long they just randomly talk.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, we talked with Ryan for about 40 minutes, and you more than doubled that. So we're gonna whoever we have next week, because I don't even think G's talked about it yet, but whoever we have next week is gonna have a lot of work to put in. We're gonna have to go for are we just gonna we're just gonna keep adding 40 minutes to it every time? So next time it's gonna be like 2 hours and something.
No,
So,
you don't have to do that. I could just remain on top.
Okay, I'm gonna keep a record board. Right now,
All right.
Right now, there's only 2 people, but by the end of this season of YCast, you might be up at the top. So I can't.
Is there a
promise
prize?
anything. We can think of one. I don't know yet.
I was joking. It's fine
nope,
if there's no prize.
Nope, this is a thing now. We're gonna see how long it can go.
This is going to be fun.
Yes, it is. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna get the generic stuff out of the way first, just like we always do. Okay, so how do you feel your team is doing this season so far?
Shaky start, but we're doing pretty well now, generally. The new AI difficulty kind of threw us for a loop at the beginning, but we've gotten a hold of it now.
Yeah, it's kicked a lot of people in the butt that are behind on testing and stuff. Namek looked really good in the preseason. Don't look so good in the regular season. ED from last year to this year, so
Mm-hmm.
it's taken a lot of people by surprise. But for sure, you've seemed to straighten things out. At least for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Is everything turning out how you planned before the regular season started? I'm going to take a wild guess and say no.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It's kind of hard to say. I was kind of expecting we'd be still, like, doing pretty bad because the cold curse is a thing, but we can get to that later.
Okay. Who do you think your strongest fighter is at the moment, and why?
Frieza, because he's a beast, and then again, he usually just jumps gun when we try to put him on the finisher, as we've seen in last season, and just this past week against Muscle when he was supposed to finish, and Mecha was supposed to come in second, but then Frieza came in and just completely wiped the floor with Muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So, definitely Frieza.
Yeah, I'd say. Well, which Frieza? Just regular Frieza?
Just regular Frieza. I call Mecha Frieza just Mecha.
I figured. Okay.
Yeah.
Then, is there a fighter that has given you more trouble this season than you wanted to when you brought them in at the start of the season? So, obviously, Zengai has given you problems.
Yeah, Zangia has been giving us the biggest of problems. She was great, or decent in the preseason, then the main season. Something happened, and then she was just, barely did anything.
Yeah, I feel that at least it's not one of your main characters that you're kind of stuck with. That's
right.
So that's kind of like the better of the options of who could have been bad. Because it could have been...
Yes.
Because obviously Cooler's never been your strongest. Neither of the
Yeah,
Coolers.
he's always been our problem child.
Yeah, so at least that's consistent, and you have other options. But with Zengai, you can try to just be like, get out, we don't want you anymore. So the other ones you're kind of stuck with. So, is there a specific team you want to do well against over the remainder of the season?
Well, clearly ED, Super Saiyans, and Androids, because reasons. Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of what Ryan said last week too. He wanted to do well against the people in his division. There wasn't really anybody outside of his division that he wanted to do well against, other than obviously you want to win every week.
Right. You want to do well every week, but the ones that are most important are the divisional matches because they are technically 2 in 1.
Yeah. Okay. So, going off of that, is there a team that you're surprised that is doing well that you want to continue, that you want them to continue doing well?
Derp.
Okay.
Derp and Ginyu.
I think that's everybody's answer because Ginyu,
Yeah.
even Ryan, who if I'm not mistaken, I'm not the best at remembering stats for this league. Aren't Muscle and Ginyu in the same division? Aren't they? Or they might not.
I think Ginyu is in South Kai,
Yeah.
Derp is in South Kai, Namek's in South Kai.
Was it Muscle?
It might be Muscle.
Okay,
I'm
well,
not entirely sure.
If it is Muscle, then he gave praise to Ginyu, and he wanted them to continue doing well, even if they were in the same division. So I don't think they're in the same division now that I'm thinking about it more. But whatever, for the sake of it, continuity-wise, we're just gonna keep going with it.
Right. And I would like to point out, please stop going to the cold ship against Ginyu. It's not working out very well for you.
Yeah, it isn't. It's not.
I have insurance though. So even if you do go there, you're paying for it.
Yep, you're gonna get the number of the truck that hit your car, that hit your
Oh,
ship.
yeah.
Good.
But it's mainly against the team that decided to, hey, let's go to the cold ship. There's no ground there. They're the ones that are paying, not Ginyu Force.
Is your insurance company the space branch of Allspace?
Yeah.
Kind of,
It's Allspace, yeah.
Allspace, kind of the only brand
That
you
and
can go with.
and AAA for the actual traveling.
Yeah, that's good.
Spatial A, actually, it's what it's called.
Spatial A. Okay, good choices. The two of the biggest brands up there.
Yes.
Okay.
They're the only brands up there because they are the ones I support.
Fair point. Okay, what is your goal for the season other than winning the championship? Because everybody's big goal at the end of the season is to win the bowl. But what is your goal other than
big goal? Break the cold curse. I don't want to go back to South Kai.
Oh, you mean the rotation curse, where you go up and then you go back down?
I've seen it mainly with cold because I'm part of it.
Yeah.
Where season 5 we were just not a factor in anything. Season 6 we had God Frieza and just amazing games. We started off shaky, so I was kind of worried that I just want to break the curse. Please let me break the cold curse. I just want to break it so hard.
Good goal. So you don't want to end up back in South Kai. You'd have to do a lot of work. How many wins do you have?
We have. Let me go to the rotation schedule. See.
You don't know your team's record?
I'm sorry. I am running off of 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
so.
Don't worry about it. I'm running off.
I want to say 4 and 3 or 3 and 4.
I would say you'd have to do pretty badly throughout the rest of the season with that kind of record to get in the South. So, because it's not the best, but it's by far not the worst.
Right.
So, just don't do awfully, and you'll not go to South Kai. Keep that in your head.
Yes, that's what I'm aiming for.
Okay, sounds like a plan then. Okay, now we're going to get to questions from members of the YCast that have posted, mostly FCD. So we're going to go...
Thank you, FCD.
Yes, thank you for all 7 of your questions out of the 8 we have from the YCast chat.
There was an 8th?
Yeah.
Why not just throw in all 8? Or are you throwing in all 8 and it's just mainly FCD?
It's all the FCD ones, and then there's one from Ascension.
Alright, let's go.
With Metacooler...
I don't mind.
What?
I don't mind answering all these questions, so it's fine.
Okay, well, we're going to go then.
Alright.
With Metacooler and the other characters tending to like to use Rebirth, and use it so fast, do you think they will make any restrictions to it next season?
Probably, what they have with Yajirobe, because the Senzu Bean is just a full heal. They might end up doing something like what he has, restriction-wise,
maybe not
with
to that
our
extreme.
team. Maybe not to that extreme, but then again, I think Yajirobe can only use Frieza AI, and that's kind of what Metacooler is on right now, so I'm fine with that restriction.
Hey,
only use Frieza. We've already been using Frieza, so...
Only allowed to use the AI that works. Sounds like a great punishment. Yeah.
Don't tell the main staff that, though. Shh.
I mean, if the main staff watches this video, I can't help you. But I'm not going
Damn
to
it.
I'm not going to directly tell them.
Right.
So, we'll keep that between us and the normally about 60 people that watch these videos.
Right.
Okay. Zangaya seemed to not do that bad in the preseason, but the few times she was in the main season, she didn't perform well. Do you ever plan on trying her again, like sometime later in the season, or do you plan to just kind of give up on it?
That's honestly up to the team when the next time we could switch out free agents, or if we want to be like, hey, let's throw these people off and use the rotation bench thing for the free agent right now. That has to be put up to a vote. It's just not solely my decision. It's mine and everyone else's, but we might not. It all depends on how things go.
Just kind of depends on a lot of factors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sounds like a reasonable plan for the rest of the season. I know during the off season, some teams decided to make use of their Zinni and get a good character in their free agency. Others wanted to save it for the boost store during the regular season. So when you picked up Zangaya, did you plan on trying to find a build and use her, or did you just want to have the Zinni for the boost store?
Honestly, we had a small pool of characters that we wanted to have as a free agent. I believe Pecan was one, Zangia was one, because we have DJ Numa, who has experience with Zangia due to him being on the Vals for a few seasons and then working on her in the minor leagues. There's a Vegeta or two in there, for sure.
Vegeta's always a coveted thing for any team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, basically, after we got our pool, we decided on whoever popped up first, we would go for them. So, we did that, and then if there were two of the same person, or two people in that pool in the same week, and they are the first ones to appear, we'd have an order of who we want more. This person, this person, this person, this person. And if they were the one we wanted most, or over the other person, we'd go for them. So say we would want Baby Vegeta more than Pecan. So if Pecan and Baby Vegeta were in the same week of betting for them, we would go for Baby Vegeta over Pecan. And Zangia just happened to be the only one in that week. Like, I think it was the first week or second week of betting for free agents. Yeah. So we just grabbed her and no one else conflicted with us. So we just, took her. It also kind of reflects Team Cold. Coach is a female. I'm pretty sure the rest of Cold are males. So it's
there's the one or two effeminate males, but I'm like 95% sure they're all males.
Yeah, essentially. And I'm like the only female, so it's kind of symbolic of Team Cold, I guess.
There you go.
That's just a bonus, though.
Yeah, that's just a little bonus to trying to get another character that works. So, okay. What change did you make to your team after week 3? Since you went 0-3, and then week 4 you kind of came out swinging. So, what did you do that improved their performance so much?
First off, we swapped King Cold in for Zangia for the free agent bench. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry if I'm annoying people by calling Zangaya Zangia. I took Japanese 101 and 102 last year in college, so the pronunciation is sticking with me, so I'm like, it's just going off as Zangia more so than Zangaya. Because I've been conditioned that way in Japanese 101 and 102. But that's the first thing we did. And the second thing we did was we actually found AIs that worked and spammed for both of our Friezas. Because Yajirobe AI just wasn't as spammy or doing their max power B1s as much. So we just found an AI that just spammed significantly more than the others. Like, I think Gohan AI just threw out 3 B2s in a best of 3 match. Like, in one match, just 1 B2, 0 B2s, 2 B2s, like in total, versus the totals, I believe, were 5, 10, and then 17 out of the builds, or the AIs we tested. So we went with the one that was significantly higher. and throwing out
probably
P's total.
That's the better option.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the
And we did the same thing with Frieza as well, and we found the build or the AI that works for him.
Mm-hmm. It's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Looking back on it, do you think benching Cold at the beginning of the season was a mistake?
With the knowledge we had then, if I didn't have the knowledge I have now, I would say no, I wouldn't think it was a mistake, but now I kind of do. The reason why we benched King Cold to begin with, at least during the voting, no one really voted but Gunman, and he said King Cold, and I'm like, I don't exactly remember the reason, and I'm not going to go back in the 222 pages in our forums, but the reason I wanted King Cold to be the free agent bench is because his melee was so slow, and that is kind of a hindrance to us at times, as we kind of saw against last week against DB Warriors, where King Cole just couldn't do anything, like at all. He just came in, ate a B2, ate another one, died, barely did anything.
Yep. So, then, not really to follow that up, but what do you think, or are you still thinking, that Zangia would bring your team, what would she bring to your team when you brought her in?
Originally, maybe another melee character, because you can never have too much melee, really. Like tanker melee. Because our two melee characters are more defense-orientated, more so than attack-orientated.
Yeah, they're meant to outlast, not to outdeal
Mm-hmm.
damage.
Because we have meta, we want him to stay in longer to give him more of a chance to do rebirth. And King Cold, because he needs the extra defense with his low melee. So another attack melee character would be great. Either that or a B1 character with her Psycho Thread.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of what we were thinking of going along with Zangia. Didn't exactly work out as we planned, or like it did in the preseason, but who knows? She may or may not make a return.
Nobody knows at this point, so.
No.
How do you explain...
Nor will I tell if I knew.
Yeah, well, obviously, if you know and nobody else knows, you're not going to tell that, and we don't expect you to, because then that's giving other people information that they don't need to hear at this time.
Completely.
So.
Okay, you just went robotic for a second.
Yeah, so did you. Skype's been acting super weird. Before this like call actually happened for the 2 hours it's been going on, we had so much trouble getting in. We had 6 conversations going, trying to get this.
Oh my god,
and then,
6 groups.
Yeah, and nothing worked until the last.
Until like we both, including Jim, because he was here originally before leaving for other things. We all had to restart our Skype.
And then it finally
and
worked.
That's what,
and
yeah.
We moved
there
on.
were suddenly 6 total groups of just the 3 of us. We're like, okay, hiding all of these now because they're not important.
Yep. Okay, then, kind of go off of what we were just talking about with Zangia and how she didn't do what you wanted to, but at the same time, then you rotated her out. How do you explain the slow start that your team had?
Just Zangia and the fact that we didn't realize Yajirobe AI was not really working on both of our Friezas anymore. We looked at the preseason, I think it was week 1, where Mecha Frieza just came in Yajirobe AI and just threw out, 5, 6 supernovas or something. And we took that information as, yeah, Yajirobe AI probably still works, and then the main season started and it didn't, because we didn't have Mecha Frieza or Frieza really in any of the other preseason weeks, so that kind of bit us in the ass there, but
just a little bit, only a little bit.
In hindsight, we probably should have tested that more.
Yeah, that's more testing is never a bad thing in pretty much any scenario.
So, right.
Going off of that, Metacooler probably has had the best season of his career, as far as anyone can remember, or at least FCD can remember, as this comment says. What happened to him, and did you expect those types of performances out of him when you were coming into the season?
honestly, we didn't really change much from last season, other than the fact that last season, Metacooler was allowed to have light body on him, so we had to switch that out for one Patara. But other than that, I really think it's the fact that the AI change really boosted him.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. Like, because it's the same AI as it was last season as well, and he was just doing average, but now he's doing significantly better, and there's doing or trying more rebirths. It's got to be the AI difficulty, in my opinion.
Yeah, the AI's helped a lot of characters. It's also hurt a lot of characters. Thankfully, Cooler was on the upswing of that for you guys.
Meta
Yeah,
cooler.
Meta
Can't confuse our coolers, okay?
Oh, excuse me for not knowing the difference between the two coolers.
Meta and then cooler.
Okay, gotcha. I'll try not to do it again, but it's probably going to happen anyways.
And I will correct you again.
That's fine.
Just try not to get in my bad book.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep the bookmark in the good one right now. Okay, there's something. Okay, I don't understand why you phrased it like this. There's something known as the team cold, saying that if your team, this is the question about
the cold curse one.
Yeah. That's what he meant to put. There's something known as the team cold curse, saying that if your team does great one season, it's going to have a bad or only okay one after that. Does it affect you in any way, or do you simply don't think or believe in it, and that it was simply bad luck and will not happen again? We already kind of touched on this, but I want to hear more detail.
Yeah, but more detail on that. I've noticed that I believe that it's every odd season, Team Cold is just either okay or is back in South Kai. And then even seasons like season 6 last season, where we had God Frieza and we just skyrocketed up to North Kai. It's just, I do believe in it, and I just want to break it, and it does affect me because like it makes me think more critically. If I didn't believe in it, I probably wouldn't look into things as much as I really do. So just keeping in on that is just keeping that in the back of my mind. It's just like, okay, I want to stay out of South Kai. Or West Kai, really. I want to stay in the upper Kais.
You want to stay in one of the two uppers, yeah.
Yes. Just makes me think more and just focus even harder on all this stuff that I'm, like, looking at. Like, what the other opponents do, what their builds look like, what their lineups usually look like, how our team acts, how our team lineups usually look like. How can we counter them? How can we do all of these things? And last week, I think we got lucky because Muscle, I think, were trying to completely throw us off by putting their main finisher in first, which definitely threw me through a loop. I thought they were going to bench Roshi or Garlic. Mm-hmm. I technically wasn't wrong with Roshi. Yeah. I did not expect them to switch Roshi and Nappa and then just put Super Boo on the bench. I was not expecting that. The only thing I legitimately got right was where 13 was placed. Out of everything. That's the only thing I got right. But that just seemed like it perfectly got countered by our lineup somehow. Either that or people derped.
Yeah, there are a lot of different ways it could have gone.
It just worked in our favor in the end. But you can't just leave it up to luck, or you just have to take it in your own hands and just really try to beat the curse. And just don't think it's just luck. It's not. It's really not.
Yep, you think it's...
It's other people looking at our team, realizing what we did last season, and that we're probably not going to change much from last season. And then they're just going to do that and be like, okay, here's how we counter them. As we saw week 1, hard melee. Mm-hmm. But that was when we still didn't really have our spammers up to snuff.
Yeah, okay. So you think it's more of a fact of stagnation on your team, on Cold's part, and then people countering for it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, it's a smart way to look at it.
Yeah.
So, okay then, and then... from the moment that this interview is happening, so right now before this coming week happens, what do you think was your most important match of this season so far?
Thus far, in the past 7 weeks?
Yes.
kind of hard to say because there were no divisional matches. Our Team Cold's first divisional match happens week 10. And then there's no back-to-back divisional matches, so we don't really have to worry about who are we going to bench against which team is more of a threat, really.
You always can just be like, okay, we just need to prepare ahead of time for this.
Mm-hmm.
Take it into account.
But honestly, looking at the past 7 weeks, I can't really tell you what the most important match was because none of them were really in our division. Although I really enjoyed the Cold versus Derp match. I really wish we would have won that because it was so close.
Yeah.
But either way, everyone was just on edge, even if you aren't a supporter for both teams. I'm just like screaming at my monitor for like all of the reasons.
Okay. Yeah, I can see where that would happen. Okay. Then the last question from the YCast people. Your participation in the chat box and the forums make you someone easy to recognize for new or old people. You were also confirmed for being a co-commentator for the Gauntlet in the minor league. Do you believe it's important for a coach and as a member of the DBZL community to be involved with the league like you do?
Generally, just being in part of the community, like no matter which community you're part of, how do I word this? It's generally a better idea to make yourself, like, open to other people. So, like, if a new person went to Team Cold and they weren't really sure how I was, like, if I kept myself sheltered within the Cold forum, they wouldn't really know anything about me. And they would probably be scared to question me or to put their opinion out there. By making myself a bit well known, it makes them a bit more relaxed, like they actually know me before they actually come to talk to me.
Converse with you or talk to you or join your team even. Either way, you get to know the people more.
Yeah, and I've even, like, just yesterday, I want to say, from when this is recorded, someone in the XCOM 2 roleplay tried starting the roleplay within the forum. So I messaged them saying, this isn't a good idea, because it's 1, going to get lost forever, 2, going to be really confusing, and 3, it's going to take forever to finish. So I led them to the Google Doc and say, this is what you should do if someone wants, like, I want to say it was walk off, like WOLKOFF with a bunch of numbers at the end. In parentheses of his post, I don't remember numbers. Like, I look at the words, not the numbers, because that's, like, you don't say, hi, number 51210 or whatever.
Hey, it's just clone number 726. How
exactly.
you doing today?
Exactly. It's names are better for me to remember the numbers, but in parentheses on their journal entry, they wanted to know if anyone wanted to roleplay. So what I told, I think his name started with Shadow or something. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I can't remember you all off the top of my head, but I directed them to the Google Doc for the XCOM roleplay for the roleplay purposes, and told him that he should message Walk Off and be like, hey, I know you want to roleplay. Do you want to roleplay? And then discuss what times would be good for you guys, so you could, like, and just explain that whole thing. And it really does help. He was great. He or she was grateful that I, like, sent that to them, because I honestly don't want to see people's roleplays get lost, because I love roleplaying myself. So it's generally good to be a part of the community in a way.
Yeah, at least be active in some sense.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be.
Don't just shelter yourself.
Yeah, you don't have to be outgoing or talk to everybody, but you do need to at least have some interactions with at least your own team or whatever faction you hang out with. 'Cause,
yeah. Even go to the open forums for each team and just be like, what I've been doing for most of the season, or I think all of it, is just going to the team we're facing that week, the day of, and wishing each team good luck for the day's matches. Muscle did it the same thing to me, but instead of replying to my good luck on their main open general discussion thing, they went to Cold's open discussion thing. And I wanted to let him know he really threw us for a loop there. But I don't know which one he saw, the one on his or the one on mine.
Well,
I really shouldn't say his or mine muscles are colds, really.
yeah. So, yeah, I see what you mean either way. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I
It's
recommend.
general good sportsmanship, wishing people good luck and saying good game or whatnot.
Yeah, I'd say that if you're new to the league, because I know that everybody that watches my videos, I've got like two divisions of them that watch some stuff and not the other stuff. If you do end up watching some of the YCast stuff or some of the coaches' interviews or something instead of the normal stuff that I put out, I'd recommend if you want to join that you get involved with as many people as possible because I joined beginning of last season. I'd watched for a couple seasons, but then I joined the forums at the beginning of the last season, started the YCast, and I've met a whole bunch of people. Don't talk to as many of the original people that I met in the forums as I'd like, but I still talk to, G was one of the first people I met on the forums, and we talk literally every day now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get on, we'll Skype call for 30 minutes, an hour. We'll do stuff like this where we sit in a call for an hour with other people and talk about random stuff, whether it's league or a whole bunch of other crap. Or I kidnap
Mm-hmm.
him and make him do my bidding on other forums.
Oh, poor Giom.
Yep. So, yep, see, even G, who's being silent in the background of this call, says, it is a decision I regret. But you can't take it back now. So, thank you, G, for being the upstanding person that you are. Okay, now we're going to move on to questions from non-YCast people in the YCast, the
Coach interview.
coach interview thread. So if you have a question, which most of you probably have questions for some form for the coach that we're going to have next. Don't know who that is. We'll find out and let you know on there once we do. Go post them there. So we are going to get started with the question from Zal. I don't know. We already asked that one. My bad. I forgot Yubel posted that in our group chat. So we're going to get one from X Easton. I don't know how to pronounce names.
Zestan. He's also known as Sora.
Okay, well I'm going to go with Sora then because that's easier.
Easier to pronounce, yeah.
Much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you feel about your chances to make the playoffs right now?
Let's see. Math. Maybe 50-50, since we're ahead of ED, probably higher than that.
Mm-hmm.
But if we drop below ED, we're not going to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, have fun dropping below. Have fun dropping below us.
Odds are it's probably going to be between me and androids, and if we beat them, holy crap.
Yeah.
Although Super Saiyans have always really been a hard team for Team Cold to beat. Probably because Canon. I blame Canon. I am blaming Canon on that. It's not our skills. It is Canon that is preventing us from getting Super Saiyans.
I'd be inclined to believe it. So I'm just going to say that as long as... If you can beat androids, you've got a very, very, very good shot. So
if you're Super Saiyans, you're most likely going to get the bye.
Yeah.
As usual.
So feel good about that, Crimson. But don't feel good about it at the same time because you should. Hey, Crimson, you want
give other people a chance.
Yeah, give other people a chance to be good. Dang it. Oh well. And then, are you disappointed in Cooler or Frieza? Or that Cooler or Frieza didn't jump into ED and Super Saiyan's match to make sure none of them won? I don't know what he's trying to ask there.
It's because, like, when people started voting, who do you want to win, ED or Super Saiyans, I'm like, these two are both in my division. I don't want either of them to win.
Oh, so...
And then the discussion went on, I wanted my team to just jump in and slaughter their remaining characters when they're both on their last characters.
And so Cole gets another win. Cole gets an extra win.
Yeah, essentially. But to answer that, not so much disappointed in Cooler or Frieza. I'm more so disappointed in that the whole team of Team Cold, including Zangya, somehow, didn't jump in and slaughter the remainder of the characters, so that we would get an extra win that week, and then both teams would just drop a bit.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. You need to put Zangaya in there, and then once they're on their last people, both other teams, you just send Zangaya in there. It's like switch training in Pokemon, and then she gets all the experience, and then she'll get stronger, and then eventually she'll evolve, and then you can actually use her. There you go.
What the hell would she even evolve into?
I don't know. I don't know what a Zenkai is. I don't know what alien that is. Couldn't tell you. Maybe she'll evolve.
She evolved into Bojack.
A female Bojack? Oh, God. I don't know if I want to see that. Although I could probably...
Bojan.
I can definitely look it up on the internet and find it. So I'll probably do that after this.
Bojan or Bojill, I think.
Either.
I think Bojill, because Jack and Jill.
Yep, there you go. Oh, and then they go and fall down, or they fall down a hill.
Mm.
There you go.
That's a rhyme about death.
Super strong guy who can fly and survive in space falls off a hill. That's a...
I love how there's a rhyme about death, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jack broke his skull and Jill kind of broke her body tumbling after her.
Okay. These are questions from Daxter. Does Earth's Defenders' current standing in your division make you feel more comfortable about having a shot at making the playoffs, or are you more concerned with catching up to Super Saiyans at the top?
No and yes. I always tend to overestimate my opponent, really, because if I do, I drop my guard if I underestimate them, and that could very easily come to bite me in the ass. So I won't be comfortable until we're like 5 matches ahead of them, essentially, because then there would be no way they would be able to essentially catch up at this point if we're 5 matches ahead of them.
Yep.
And I won't really feel comfortable until after we beat them. If we beat them, no offense.
Optimism.
I don't. Optimism, yes.
You will beat them, for sure. Confirmed.
Says the Earth Defender.
Hey.
Earth Defender.
Shh. We don't talk about that.
And I do kind of want to catch up with Super Saiyans at the top, because it would be nice to have that North Kai bye week. And not have to deal with androids or super defenders.
Yeah,
whoever
does
super.
Whatever.
I cannot talk.
Super Earth
Androids, Super Saiyans, or Earth Defenders, really, until like one of them beats the other in the first round.
Androids and Earth Defenders are just going to give up and combine teams. There we go. That would
be fairly amusing, but I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, probably won't. Okay. Then the second question is, with Namek having 2 solid characters right now in Late Piccolo and Tambourine, combined with Pycon starting to do well, how do you feel your match will go against them? Do you think it will be a smooth and predictable match, or do you think that, or due to their current record, or will it be a tough one that you are not sure how you'll fare because they're strong characters?
Again, I overestimate my opponents, so I can't really predict this until like probably next week, where I will predict stuff about them and try and figure out how to counter them, potentially. At least I'm pretty sure we face them next week.
Yeah.
Let me double check. We face Namek next week.
That's this coming Sunday. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm not gonna make any bets that we'll win or lose against them. It might be close, because I believe Namek's been having a lot of close matches.
Yeah, all their matches.
But just haven't really been able to get the last hit in, essentially.
Most of their matches have been close. But when they've lost bad. Like, they haven't won a lot, but most of their matches have been close. But when it's a clear-cut loss, they've lost awfully.
Mm.
So,
and it's really hard to predict whether it's going to be extremely close or complete domination on either side. That's always like an impossibility to predict. You can only pray for a good match between both teams, really. And that your team wins, but I'm pretty sure Namek wants to win against us. But we want to win against Namek as well. Everyone wants to win, but there can be no ties, or I want to say there could be no winners, but then again, there are winners. Everyone cannot be a winner every week, which is kind of sad, but
and there's her philosophy for you. So
not everyone can be winners.
We're going to get her to write a book. So now she has 3 books: the good book, the bad book, and then philosophy. There we go. Okay.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, do it. I'd read a philosophy book. Okay, we're gonna move on to. There's 2 more people. We've got Ryan, last week's interviewee. Yeah, interviewee.
Yeah.
That's the correct term for it. And then Coach of Muscle. He asks, if you could have any henchman that worked under Frieza or Cooler be a part of your team, who would you choose?
Again, this is my favorite question. I love it. Um, Ginyu Force, because I'm using the watch. Zarbon for his fabulousness, and I want to see him try out like legitly for a Ginyu Force. That would be
That was actually
amazing.
a thing in one of the Raging Blast games.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know, or was it Ultimate Tenkaichi? It was one of those, like, the PS3, Xbox 360 age Dragon Ball games right before Xenoverse happened. They actually had a side mission, like one of the what if things, where Dodoria and Zarbon teamed up and tried out for the Ginyu Force.
Oh, that's great.
So
I feel like Zarbon would make it because he's so fabulous, but I don't think Monster Zarbon would make it. He's not fabulous enough for to be a part of Ginyu. There's also Salza, just because I believe Jace and Salza have like a little rivalry going on, so that'd be kind of amusing.
That would be pretty cool.
Ginyu Force, Salza, Zarbon. Oh, and of course, Vegeta.
Yeah. Like any of those Saiyans that were under, like, Bardock, Vegeta,
Any of these Saiyans, essentially, because technically speaking, all Saiyans were under Frieza and Cooler and King Cold and everyone.
Yep. But wait, you don't want Frieza Soldier?
Are you kidding me?
All three of them?
And I quote Team Forsar, a pool couldn't handle a shot of raspberry snapsh, much less Vegeta.
Yep. There you go. You couldn't have said it better myself.
I'm sorry, but the Frieza soldiers just aren't competent enough.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, and then there's like Kui and stuff, but in all honesty, I'd rather have pretty much any member of the Ginyu Force over most of the other people. So
I'm sorry, I just have to point this out. Guillaume just I just looked at Guillaume's message from like 7 minutes ago. Yeah. Female Bojacqueline.
Yeah, I saw that too. I didn't want to.
I couldn't help but laugh at that.
That's pretty good. Okay, and then the last couple questions. There's a lot of them, but it's by Derpy Emoji. I don't recognize that, but
I think he's new.
He's
or she
new-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Frieza,
they're clearly for Team Derp.
Yeah, well, obviously Team Derp.
I've seen Derpy a lot on the Shoutbox, just wanting Rugrats to have Cyberman, and Cyberman is best character or whatever.
Yeah, he's very, very, very consistent with him wanting Cyberman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With Frieza not performing as well as he did last season, will Cold be testing First Form Frieza again during the off-season?
We don't exactly know yet, considering
it's not even
why bother testing what we can't change now, essentially. We can't even test an AI on First Form Frieza for seasonal testing. We're just going to have to wait until the off-season, but we might not. It depends, really, but we don't know how First Form Frieza acts on this AI, so it all just depends.
Yeah, it's all a matter of how things work out in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then from your own personal opinion, who do you think is the most consistent character on your team?
Probably Metacooler, followed by Frieza after getting his AI fixed.
Yeah, I'd say Metacooler's always been your, well, at least this season has been your most consistent. He's not consistently great, but he's not anywhere near bad. So, but he's always,
right. He's average.
He's very solidly average. You can rely on him to do what he does every week.
Mm-hmm. Which is better than potentially derping hard when he's averagely, usually great. It's just usually average tends to be better more so than somewhat great, somewhat bad kind of mixture.
But could be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next is, do you think Mecha Frieza, as of now, is a bigger threat than Final Form Frieza?
Oh, God. That I have to think on. It all really depends on how the build we wanted to test against Muscle does. We couldn't really deem how well that build tested on against Muscle due to the fact that Mecha came out in the last 2,900 points of damage. So we couldn't really tell what happened.
Yeah.
How it would have been. But considering the fact that we're going to be posting builds tonight, It's Thursday. We're testing that build again against Rugrats. So hopefully Frieza doesn't jump the gun again.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So.
Yep. Then, what do you think of Cooler's performances compared to the rest of the team? I'm gonna guess it's regular Cooler. So.
It's below subpar, but not as subpar as we're used to seeing in previous seasons. He has gotten better. I don't want to say significantly better, but he's gotten better.
He's gotten better enough that you're not...
He's gotten more average. He's not exactly the pure problem child anymore, essentially.
Okay, and then we've got two more. Why did you choose Zangaya as your free agent?
We went over that, didn't we?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't think you went... I don't think you went into why specifically you chose her.
Zangya was part of the pool for people we wanted to be our free agent because DJ Numa is a part of our team.
You're right.
Yeah.
So you had somebody that had experience with her. You had a better chance of making her work than some of the other people. Something along those lines. So
yeah,
very very reasonable reasons.
Yeah, you guys could probably, watching it in the future, you could probably just go back and listen to my reason again.
Yeah, just like timestamp it, listen to it over and over and over again. There you go. And then last question is, what teams do you think will be the biggest challenge for Cold outside of the divisionals?
It says not including. I could include, but including divisionals, Super Saiyans, and Androids, outside of divisionals, the biggest challenge, honestly, coming up, I want to say the Gohans would probably be a big challenge to us.
Yeah,
just
that's a very reasonable, challenging team right there.
Yeah, not only that, but because we face them week 14, almost the end. They're going to have so much information on us. We're going to have so much information on them. It's just really hard to tell at that point, essentially.
It's going to be a lot harder to...
it won't be like last season where they benched, I think, their greatest player against us, and we just had our team.
Well, this season you're going to have to face one, if not both, of the duo of Teen Gohan and Ultimate Gohan. So...
Please, no.
Yeah... So, yeah,
Gohan,
Bojack.
please.
Don't forget Bojack.
Oh yeah,
they've got three amazing characters on their team.
So let's not forget Frieza went elite last season. Although I think I'm actually completely positive on the fact that the week Frieza went elite was the week we faced the Majins. It was also the week Dabura went elite. In the same exact match.
Yeah.
Like, that never happens.
Well, let's hope.
Like, the only time I could see it potentially happening was a few seasons ago when Cell was still in first form, and he was up against Yajirobe, and Yajirobe senzu beamed. Like, that's the only time I could see two people in the same match on different teams going elite.
Yep.
But, yeah.
I don't know what to expect from that kind of match, especially since it's still such a far off thing. So, but
we'll just have to wait and see.
With that question, that brings us to an end, unless G wants to pop in here and say anything.
Before you close it off, we should ask, as we did for Ryan, would you like to give an explanation of your coaching style and how things work in the Cold thread and on the Cold team for any new supporters, anybody looking to switch?
Okay. First off, I will announce that some of us are assholes, but we admit
put a giant banner there. It just says that. And it's like an announcement.
I'm going to quote that.
You're gonna quote what? Yeah, I'm going to...
Some of us are assholes, but we admit it, that we are assholes at times. But, other than that, we have a schedule kind of thing. Like, I enforce this schedule because it keeps us on track and keeps me, personally, from forgetting to post the builds. And that's not just because I have an alarm on my phone that goes off, like, every week. that actually helped me last week. I completely forgot it was a Thursday, and then my alarm went off. I'm like, shit, builds. But Sunday, after DBZ League, or sometimes Monday, depending on how late I stay up, I usually go into who we're facing next, etc., etc. I'm not giving away all of that because I don't want teams to, like, know that. But we look at the team we're facing. I state who we're benching and come up with a potential lineup against that team. And then all of Sunday evening and into Monday morning, we will discuss whether or not we want to keep that build or change it slightly. And then after that, on Monday, we discuss our starters builds. And then Tuesday, our second player, Wednesday, third, Thursday, finisher. And if we finish a build early, we can go on to the next person. But no matter what, builds are going to be starting to be posted, or at least I'm going to start to post them, every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is set. At one point, a member kind of argued about not talking. I'm not going to name any names, but they argued about us not talking enough about a build when we were spending like 3 days on them. This is before I reinforced my schedule theme on them. They were upset that I didn't give them enough time to point out, hey, this is a thing we need to change. But we had been talking about it for 3 days, and I told them ahead of time that I was going to post them at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But then I waited an extra hour because no one had said anything. But then, yeah, they just got mad at that. But I'm just letting you all know now that I am enforcing that I am posting them at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They will be posted by at latest 11:30 midnight. Other than that, lineup, schedule, we're assholes, but we say it.
Recapping the main points.
We admit we're assholes. We full out admit we're assholes.
Anything else you would like to admit while you're on stream?
For the most part, DJ Numa and Deadmaster Nightmare Zero are my right-hand men, essentially. So if I miss a week, they're the ones that are in charge because they have more experience than even I do, essentially. Right. But I do try to listen to everyone's advice. If you're trying to come up with a new build, please explain your reason behind it. Like what Ryan said last week, you can't just give us a build for someone and not explain why you think it's a good idea. Because we're going to be like, why do you want this Patara on them? This Patara isn't that good on them, etc., etc., etc. And also, please, if you join us, don't take criticism on your builds personally. We're trying to help make your build suggestion even better, essentially. We're not tearing you down. When we say your build isn't good, we're not talking about you in particular. We try to criticize your build in a constructive way. We're not trying to completely destroy your build, essentially. So right. When that happens, and yeah. So when it comes down for voting, I vote last, so I don't influence the team in any way. But if my vote ends the voting in a tie, my vote will count as 2. But I will usually let everyone vote first before I vote.
Strong logical rules, a nice strict schedule. Mm-hmm. I mean, it keeps us in line, so we don't If we do all the builds at once, it's kind of hard to count. Hey, we already have 2 Siriuses. This is a problem because that's happened before. Right.
It keeps us in line. Okay, this person already has these Pataras. This person also has this Patara. We can't put another one on the next characters. I just find it easier that way than just doing the whole lineup and builds in one go. It's
good. It's probably easier for new supporters to follow also, instead of you see the entire lineup shoot out in front of you, oh my god, what is this? Yeah, not only that, but it kind of puts more focus on the build we're talking about, rather than putting the whole thing up at once. Like, one person will be like, this is what I don't like about King Cold's build, and then the next person right after that doesn't comment on King Cold's build, but comments on Metacooler's build, per se.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, like, jumbled up, and I'm trying to, like, look at their suggestions and make changes to them based on their suggestions, or make compromises with them, but just a day-by-day thing. It's easier to make compromises if it's one at a time rather than all at once.
Okay. Well, anything else to add before we wrap it up?
Join Team Cold if you're brave.
Yeah. Or, on the other hand, if you're an asshole.
But you admit it. You have to admit it. You can't just be an outright asshole.
Mhm.
Because even if you admit it, you're like, if you admit you're an asshole from time to time, it kind of makes you aware of the fact that you're an asshole and makes you not an asshole 24/7 per se.
Yeah, fair enough. I just want to warn everyone, keep on her good side. Don't get on her black book. And you're
Yeah, I mentioned something which scared
You'll
both
live.
Guillaume and
Yeah, I'm
Justified over here.
I'm not gonna.
We won't say what.
I'm
but-
moving.
Yeah,
I'm moving.
All you need to say is G is moving and I'm staying put. So we're not.
I'll see you guys in Africa.
Oh, God. You're not just.
Tell me,
You're
sir.
not just. Yeah, don't tell her that.
Oh shit. Damn.
Also, space is not safe either because we do have the cold ship to take us to space, New Zealand or whatever.
Space Australia.
We already destroyed Space Australia.
Oh. Well, that was sad.
Not really.
It happened
We're all
last
pretty
season.
bad people.
Yeah, Space Australia's gone. Sorry, Jace,
Okay.
and everyone that lived.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up here. So thank you guys for watching. I don't know if we'll have an interview next week. G, do you have anything lined up?
I'm going to figure out who the next coach is, but I do not know as of this moment.
Okay, I just figured I'd ask in case we weren't idiots.
Thanks, Gail.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, we'll see you guys the next interview whenever that happens.
I
Bye.
will not be here. Bye.
Don't say never. Never say never. Something could
You're
happen.
gonna interview me
But
again
you
with the
just
same
said it
question.
twice.
Never say never, never. Said it 3 times that time. You got something else to say, G?
I'm moving
I'm
to Africa.
confused.
So am I. I'm gonna end the recording now.
Okay.
Really?